Hello children. Today we are going to study about the government, state government, which were about the state government. Government works at three levels: national, state, and local. In states, it is the MLA, Member of Legislature Assembly, who represents the people. The MLAs enter the assembly and form the government. And the state legislature consists of the governor and one or two houses. In states where there are two houses, they are called as legislative council and a legislative assembly. States having one house is known as unicameral. States having two houses is known as bicameral. The legislative council, also known as Vidhan Parishad, is the upper house. Every MLA is elected from one area. This is known as constituency. A political party whose MLAs win more than half the number of constituencies in the state get the majority. The political party is called the ruling party. All the other members are called as opposition party. Working of the government. The organization of the government. State government includes the governors, the state legislature, and the state council of ministers. Every state in India has a legislative assembly, and the duration of the legislative assembly is 5 years. The head of the state is the governor, while the head of the government consists of council of ministers headed by the chief minister. The leader of the ruling party who forms the government is known as chief minister. So constituency, we can take the whole Orissa, one state, as is divided into 147 constituencies. And the biggest state like Uttar Pradesh has 403 members in its assembly. States which have small population and are small in size have a provision for having even lesser number of members in the legislature. And the number of constituencies depends on the number of population. The Legislative Assembly is a place where leaders debate and discuss on important issues and make important bills. In addition to the Legislative Assembly, the press conference is also a mode of knowing what the government does for the people. The government works through various departments like Public Works Department, Agriculture, Health and Education. The government has the power to make new laws for the state regarding health and sanitation. Laws for the state are made by the State Legislative Assembly. Laws for the country are made by the Union Parliament. Every state in India has a legislative assembly, and each state is divided into constituencies. These are the constituencies. If we take the example of Odisha, and every 5 years, election is announced for the state assembly, legislative assembly, and all the members of legislative assembly are elected on the basis of adult franchise, universal adult franchise, and one member is elected from one constituency. A member of legislative assembly is a representative elected by the voters of an electoral district. A political party whose MLAs have won more than half of the number of constituencies a state can be said to be in the majority. The political party that has a majority becomes the ruling party, and the other members become the opposition party. So after the elections, the MLAs belonging to the ruling party elect their leader, who becomes the chief minister. The chief minister then selects other people as ministers. And the governor of the state appoints the chief minister and the other ministers. The ministers have separate offices. Some MLAs have dual responsibilities, one as an MLA and the other as a minister. The debate is generally held in the assembly to discuss current problems. During debate time, MLAs can express their opinions and ask questions related to the issue or give suggestions about what should be done by the government. The minister then replies to the questions and assures the assembly that adequate steps are being taken. The chief minister and other ministers together are responsible to run the government. All the MLAs who gather together in the legislative assembly are called the legislature. Legislature. After the discussion in the assembly, a press conference is generally held by a particular minister who explains the steps taken by the government. Media persons then report these discussions in several newspapers. The government can also decide to make new laws for the state regarding sanitation and health facilities. The various government departments then implement these laws. And what are the powers and functions of Chief Minister? The Chief Minister is the leader of the Legislative Assembly of the state, and he selects the ministers in the Council of Ministers as the head of the council. He allocates the portfolios of all departments to them. The CM is the main link between governor and the state cabinet. Generally, the governor exercises all his functions on the advice of the chief minister. It is his duty to communicate to all the decisions to the governor regarding all decisions. So here media plays an important role because media works as a link between the government and the electorate, in which it conveys the masses about the work of the government. So by broadcasting, newspaper edition, television, radio, etc. Since media has a far and wide reach, it acts as a medium to portray the various policies and performance of the government to the people. Ministers and representatives hold press conference to or make press release to connect with the people they represent. And similarly, opposition parties reach out of the people in the different forms to convey their views and on policies and performance of the ruling party. They do this through press conference, media debates, etc. Other forms of opposition are public rallies, public debates, protests, marches, etc. Thank you, children.